I'm going to take your Spanish from hay uno celular to ¿tuviste un celular negro en esa mesa blanca allá atrás? All with the help of the verb hay en español. So, grab your Spanish Like a Native planner to take notes and let's get started. ¿Qué lo que mi gente? Yo soy Ricky de Bilingüe Vlogs. Guys, when I first started learning Spanish, the Spanish sentence structure was kicking my butt. Aside from the conjugation, which is its own mental gymnastics, I got to think about things I don't have to think about in English. Gender. And then when it came to describing an object, we had to put the thing first and then the description last, which was the total opposite of what I had to do in English. I got through it. I'm a fluent Spanish speaker today, but as an online Spanish teacher with over 10 years of experience, I found better ways, faster ways for my students to learn because I don't want them to have to go through what I went through. So my number one tool for teaching Spanish sentence structure is the word I. I means there is or there are, if it's a regular statement, but in question form, it means is there or are there. The beauty of it is that that is the only conjugation that we have for that one. Entonces, I don't got to think about the conjugation part of it. All I got to do is know the gender of the thing, if it's singular or plural, and then put it in the right order, and it's done. So that's why I came up with this 2-week system to help you do the same thing. What I'm going to be doing is showing you some basic formulas, and then we're going to make the formulas grow so that way your sentence structures can look beautiful by the end, and you can swap out the correct stuff. Entonces, first formula, very basic, Spanish 101, I plus a noun. Now, the beauty of this one is that you don't always have to know the gender for this one. I recommend it because the next formula will require it, but to start off, just get used to saying I, right? So we use this formula when we're talking about something that we cannot quantify, typically with foods, liquids, or other unquantifiable things. So, por ejemplo, if I'm gonna say there's food here, hay comida aquí. If I'm gonna say, is there water here? Hay agua aquí? Hay agua aquí? Okay? So, just to get acquainted with it, you can start there, but that's really easy. All you gotta do is know the vocabulary and you're good. That's Formula 1, very straightforward, not much to say there. So let's move on to the next one, which is where now we have to use our minds a little bit because we gotta know if something is singular or plural, or if it's masculine or feminine, right? First of all, let me say this. Typically, I teach my students that when you use I, you don't use I with el or la or los or las. Por ejemplo, I can't say I la computadora. There's the computer. The computer? No, we don't say that. We have to use un, una, unos o unas. If it's singular, un or una, a or an, and then unos, unas, some. Okay, if you want to put another number there, you can. Hay dos, hay tres. Numbers don't have gender besides un and una. So the formula is going to be I plus the quantity plus the object. Por ejemplo, aquí hay unas fotos. So with this one, all I got to know is that foto is feminine because it's la fotografía. The short way is la foto. If I know that it's la fotografía, then I know I'm going to say una. Hay una foto. The thing here is that you have to know the gender of the objects. How do you learn these words? Well, through living and speaking Spanish. So you can use a Spanish to English dictionary. One of my favorite books is called Household Spanish. That taught me a lot of vocabulary. Listening to Spanish speaking podcasts, or you can watch vlogs like we have vlogs here, Bilingüe Vlogs. You can learn through application of these things. This requires you to know vocab. So you need to sharpen your vocab. And this is the perfect spot to do it because, like I said, you don't have to focus on the verbs. You don't have to focus on the conjugation. You just focus on saying the right object. Then you can go to formula number 2. I plus the quantity plus the object plus the description of that object that needs to match in gender and in number. It's important in Spanish to make sure that your gender matches the description. Like it has, if something is masculine, everything needs to be masculine. If something is plural, everything needs to be plural. Sometimes, it can't be masculine because the word doesn't work. For example, azul. Azul is not masculine or feminine. It's just azul, right? But if we say rojo, then we can say roja, and we need to make sure that that matches up perfectly with our description. So, por ejemplo, hay un sofá blanco. Because I said un sofá, that sounds confusing, right? Because sofá, it ends in A. Shouldn't it be una? No. And that's what I mean. You got to know your vocabulary. Hay un sofá blanco. Un, masculine, so it needs to be blanco. Al contrario, hay una mesa blanca. Hay una mesa blanca. We had a feminine object, hay una So that means that the description, blanca, needs to match that. Un sofá blanco, una mesa blanca. Le llega. I'm telling you, this is all going to come together beautifully at the end, but you got to sharpen the tool first. You got to sharpen the knife before you use it. This is you sharpening the knife. In my opinion, the best way to learn Spanish, the best way to do anything is to get small wins and celebrate those small wins. That's how it accumulates to a big win. Just like any championship. You win game 1, game 2, game 3, game 4, like the New York Knicks this year, and then they got the big win. Así funciona con aprender un idioma, mi gente. So now we're going to take it to the pro level of using I to get the perfect sentences every time in español. So we're going to start with I plus a quantity plus a noun plus the description of the noun plus the location of that noun, that object. Entonces, por ejemplo, hay un sofá blanco detrás de mí. This is a game changer because you went from baby Spanish, hay arroz, to something a lot more complex. You're giving description, you're giving location, you're being very detailed, you're giving the quantity, you're being very detailed in your speech. You already have the structure. Now you got to put the verb in there. But let me tell you what, putting the verb there is so easy. It's so easy. Let me give you an example. Let's say I'm talking to a realtor and I want to ask certain things about a house that she's looking at that I may want to check out in person. I may say, ¿hay un sofá blanco ahí? Is there a white couch there? That works, but I may want to use another verb. Como, esa casa tiene un sofá blanco. So now we're not using I, we're replacing it with ese sofá tiene, the verb tiene. But the rest of it's already done for me because I know how to make sentences correctly. Un sofá blanco. That now, that's a no-brainer. I just got to focus on saying the right subject, you know, whether that's a person or a thing, right? Esa casa, or I could say, does that lady have a white couch in her house? Esa mujer tiene un sofá blanco en su casa? Or something like, is there a black iPhone there? ¿Hay un iPhone negro ahí? Sí, yo veo un iPhone negro aquí. Entonces, you see, I'm switching it out. Instead of saying I could say, I see this thing. Entonces, you guys, for me, this was a complete game changer. And I think it can help you too. All you got to do is practice this I thing for about 2 weeks. It doesn't mean that you stop practicing it after that, but it's just you should have a good grasp on it within 2 weeks. And then you can start putting different verbs, different situations on it and have the correct format for your sentences every time. So here's the format that I want to give you, right? From day 1 to 3, I want you to start off in the very, very beginning, you know, I and then the noun. You can add a number or you don't have to add a number, but don't describe it yet. Hay un libro. Hay un celular. From day 4 through 6, I want you to do the same thing, but add the description as well. So, hay unas almohadas marrones y blancas. With day 7 through 9, I want you to start adding in the location with I. Okay? Hay unas almohadas blancas y marrones en el sofá. On days 10 to 12, I want you to start adding in questions and also negatives. No hay una mesa blanca en mi apartamento. Or, hay una planta verde en tu casa, ¿verdad? And then on days 13 and 14 and beyond, I want you to switch out I for the different verbs that you want to put into play. Tu hermana tiene una planta verde en su casa. Tu abuela no tiene una mesa blanca en su sala. Compré una guitarra blanca de Guitar Center. That's my formula for how one word can give you the perfect Spanish sentence structure every time. Of course, you know, we have other stuff like me gusta and stuff like that, which is a different format. But for most conversations that are not like gustar or have funky formats, this is how you go about it. So put this into practice. Let me know how it goes for you. Actually, let me see your comments down below. Tell me what there is around you. And then take away I and make some other sentences with that. If you found this video helpful and you want some one-on-one practice, we do offer classes here at Bilingüe Blogs. I would love to have you as a student. Pero, mi gente, eso es todo para el día de hoy. Make sure to hype this video up, subscribe, share, like, you know, all those things to interact with the video to get this video pushed out to people who want to perfect their Spanish. My goal as a Spanish teacher is to help you speak Spanish like a native, to do whatever you want to do in the language. If you want to travel, want to reconnect with your family, you want to find, you know, tu jeva, tu jevo, tú sabes, tú puedes hacerlo con nosotros. Entonces, estamos aquí para eso. So, I'll see you in the next video. Hasta aquí el video de mi gente y nos fuimos.